All right. Welcome to episode 2 of How to Crypto. This is your Imperial Majesty speaking. Today's episode, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about risk management. This is something that that's very important to trading. A lot of noobs don't really understand what that means or how to do it. So I'm gonna try to explain to my best capacity what risk management is and how I do it. I'm gonna use 4 basic points to sort of lay the groundwork to explain what risk management is really. So firstly, you just gotta ask yourself, what is it? What does it mean? Well, simply, risk management is just trading in such a way that no single trade can affect you meaningfully, right? Like, the downside is limited. That's the point. The upside stays infinite, because anything can go up for 5 or 10 or 2000x, but it can only go down 100%. So how do you structure your portfolio then? The general rule in trading is that you should never put more than 1% of your portfolio in any single trade. This includes both spot trading and margin trading and what have you. But of course, this is crypto, and we're all degenerates, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but basically you have to decide in crypto what's the best sort of most meaningful rate to trade at, and it kind of depends on your sort of risk tolerance and how comfortable you are to make a trade. So you can have either you can do 1% per trade and have 100 tranches, right, for each trade, or you can go me, for example, I use 5%, right? Basically what this means is, let's say my portfolio is 1 BTC in total, right? I never put more than 0.05 BTC in a trade, right? This gives me 20 tranches at a time. Now, of course, as your portfolio grows and as you make successful trades, this number stays the same, but the percentage sort of goes down, right? You become more and more stable, while you become more and more you become less and less risked per trade, while staying in the same sort of in the same amount of sort of money you put in per trade. Now, of course, why is this, right? Why trade like this? The reason, apart from just being like a risk management thing, it's also better for your sort of mental state, right? Like, you can't, if you're going in all in every single trade you're taking and hoping to sort of make money, like make 100x every single time, you're not going to be able to hold for that 100x, right? The swings are going to break your back, and you're just going to sort of leave and like run away. So personally, I would suggest this sort of pattern, right, of risk management. And this is good because you know, like I said, it helps you mentally. You know, with each trade you make, and let's say you're the kind of person who sells, you know, half on a double, which I would suggest you do that as a noob. You should always, the first 100%, you should always sell that first half on a, you know, on a double, and like accept that you are no longer, like, that trade is now risk free, right? You are now entirely risks, you know, there's no risk anymore in that trade that you took. Of course, this doesn't mean that you should continue selling halves on doubles, right? That's just stupid, right? I mean, it's like shooting yourself in the foot every single time you come with something, right? It's just dumb. It's just dumb. You want to sell the first half, you know, become like secure in the trade mentally and technically, and then just let it run, right? This is crypto. Things go up 10, 20x's, you know. So that's the risk management model that I suggest that you follow as, you know, as a student who's sort of learning all of this. Now, let's talk about breaking the rules. All rules are meant to be broken. That's the whole point of rules, right? The truth is, every once in a while, you're gonna come across a trade that's really good. That's, you are 100% sure of it for some reason. I don't know, maybe the fundamentals are just so good, or maybe this is more of a long-term thing, or this is more of a sort of, or maybe you have inside information, something like that, right? You should also have a plan to break your rules, right? And that plan is to ask yourself, what is the maximum amount of sort of rule break model that I'm allowed to follow? And personally, that amount is 25%, a quarter of your entire portfolio, and that's the rule break sort of maximum, right? What that means is that doesn't mean that you put all your money in like that one trade. It means of all the non sort of 5% trades that you take, those ones can only be maximum 25%. So you can have two trades in that 25%. You can have 3 trades. You can have, you know, whatever, up to 5, obviously, because then it just becomes, you know, normal. So that's just like, so for example, when I saw that dot trade on Topia, I was so confident about it that I broke my rules, right? And I put my entire rule break sort of tranche in it of 25%, and, you know, luckily for me, that trade went really well, and we hit like a 6x in 4 days or something. And then, you know, when we hit, you know, targets, I started exiting. And, you know, the point of rule breaks is you don't have to follow like the rules for your normal risk management model, right? So here you might sell half on a double, right? Just because you don't know where the trade is going, you just take a normal trade. But on a rule break, it's like, maybe it's a long-term investment, maybe you have inside information. You don't have to sort of, you know, sell half on a double. Jesus, I can't spell it all, can I? But yeah, you don't have to follow sort of your typical risk management strategy. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about is this, right? Just because you can make a trade, right? You have 100 tranches, doesn't mean you should make that trade. Just because you can You should. So like a lot of people think, well, I have 100 of these, tranches, or I have 20 of these tranches, or maybe you make a trade and your portfolio has grown to, I don't know, let's say 2, BTCs, and then you're thinking, well, it's not this 0.05 is not like 5% anymore. It's now 2.5%, right? So now you have 40 tranches, right, that you could fill of 0.05 BTCs, right? And you're thinking to yourself, no, maybe I should just take every single trade then. No, not really, right? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You should probably still find proper trades with reasonable sort of reasons to enter. And we'll talk about that next week. We'll talk about how to make trades and what reasons, right? We'll talk about TA and specifically, and then we'll talk about fundamentals specifically. So that's the first rule of just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think that's it. That's the lesson in risk management. Thanks for watching. I've started a Patreon, so if you want to support what I'm doing, just go ahead. But it's not like a private group or anything. There's no special sort of gifts. There might be special gifts, but there's no like special thing that you get that no one else gets, right? Everything I do is public, so everyone benefits. But if you want to sort of say thanks, that's your avenue. All right, see you next week.